from a pit stop that turned into a fireball, to Formula Wheels deciding to part ways with a car at 200 miles per hour. These are the craziest moments in F1 history. Starting off with the scene from the 2022 British Grand Prix, where cars were zooming, the crowd was cheering, then, bam! Out of nowhere, 6 protesters from Just Stop Oil decide to crash the party. Right on the opening lap, where every second is crucial, they sit on the track to record their protest about the world's oil problem. But choosing a Formula 1 track to make a stand? That's like protesting for veganism in a steakhouse. The drivers, used to dodging each other, now had to dodge these unexpected human speed bumps. Luckily, no disaster happened on track, but all 6 protesters faced legal troubles afterwards.
This is a climate emergency! This is a climate emergency!
Lewis Hamilton, a star on the track, spoke up, supporting their cause, but stressing safety must come first. And he said this because he remembered what happened in the 2020 British Grand Prix. Romain Grosjean was in the middle of the pack, surrounded by the hum of engines and competitors zooming by. Lewis Hamilton was leading, Valtteri Bottas was trying to catch up, and Grosjean was in 19th. Eyeballing a small gap between the cars ahead, aiming to squeeze through and gain a few precious positions in those initial moments. But in a split second, his car touched another car and a disaster occurred. The car went straight into the barrier at turn 3. His car broke in half and flames shot up. It was a sight that took many back to the haunting days of Niki Lauda's crash. Inside that fire, Grosjean's thoughts raced to his kids and didn't want to be another Niki Lauda.
I cannot die today. For my kids, I cannot die. I've got to see them.
He fought hard, pulled himself free, and stepped out of the flames. His hands were burned, his visor melted, but he was alive. The race continued, hearts paused, and for a moment, the world of F1 stared at the remains of Grosjean's car. But sometimes, the danger isn't just on the track, but in the very places meant for safety. In 1995, at the Belgian Grand Prix, Eddie Irvine was driving his Jordan car, aiming for a strong finish. This race was intense, with Michael Schumacher leading the pack. Eddie was in the mix, pushing hard to climb the ranks. As he approached his pit stop, everything seemed normal. The pit crew swarmed, tires were swapped, and fuel flowed. But then, disaster struck. A fuel valve jammed, fuel spilled, and in a heartbeat, the car was on fire. The crew jumped into action, fighting the flames. Eddie, in the middle of it all, managed to get out thanks to his safety gear. The fire was a shock to everyone, highlighting the dangers of F1, even off the track. Eddie had to end his race, and thankfully no one was harmed in the process. However, the same can't be said for this next moment, where the flames were even more ferocious. Jos Verstappen, in the thick of the 1994 German Grand Prix, was gunning for a solid finish. The Hockenheim circuit was buzzing, and every driver was pushing their limits. Now, Verstappen wasn't leading the pack, but he was holding his own, and every pit stop counted. So when his team signaled him in, he didn't think twice. But as the Benetton crew swarmed around his car, something felt off. Before anyone could react, fuel splashed and the pit was on fire. Man, Verstappen was just trying to climb the ranks, and now he's in the middle of a firestorm. Luckily, he emerged with just minor burns, but his crew members were not as lucky. They got hurt in the chaos. After the fire was put out, the pit lane was filled with shock and panic. The incident ignited a controversy. Benetton found removing a refueler filter to make pit stops faster. This sparked debates about ethics and safety in Formula 1. As the smoke cleared from this fiery incident, tempers flared elsewhere on the track. In the 1982 German Grand Prix at Hockenheim, things were heating up. This race was important because the championship was super close. Nelson Piquet, driving for Brabham, was doing great, leading the race. But then, near a tight corner, he had a bad collision with Eliseo Salazar's ATS car. This messed up Piquet's chances big time. What made this race unforgettable was what happened next. Piquet, mad as a hornet, confronted Salazar right there on the track. They got into a physical fight, shoving and throwing punches.
Well, not a pretty scene.
After the dust settled, Piquet's chances of winning the championship took a big hit because of all the points lost from this race. Surprisingly, Piquet didn't get in big trouble for the fight, which was a bit unusual for those times. From physical confrontations, the drama shifted to mechanical malfunctions. During the 2010 Chinese Grand Prix practice session, Sebastian Buemi found himself in an unexpected and dramatic moment. It was a typical session at the Shanghai International Circuit, and Buemi, driving for Toro Rosso, was preparing for the upcoming race. Just as he hit the brakes while approaching a hairpin turn, both of Buemi's front wheels suddenly said goodbye, and his car went into a wild spin. The incident was later attributed to the failure of the front right upright, a crucial component that connects the wheel assembly to the suspension. Thankfully, Buemi walked away without a scratch, but he was visibly shaken. The practice session came to a screeching halt, and the track had to be cleared of the scattered wheel debris. But at least Sebastian lost tires on the track and not in the pit like the Ferrari team. It was September 26, 1999 at the Nürburgring, a pivotal race for Eddie Irvine. With his Ferrari teammate Michael Schumacher sidelined, Irvine found himself unexpectedly in the championship battle. The race was on, and every point counted. As the race approached its climax, Irvine made a crucial pit stop, but it went horribly wrong. A missing wheel turned a routine pit stop into a 48-second nightmare.
Well, this is ludicrous. This is
Now we're
loaded.
going to have a committee meeting about it.
It's like searching for your car keys when you're late for work, except this time it's in front of a global audience. Irvine watched helplessly as precious time slipped away and his championship hopes hung in the balance. The immediate impact was harsh. Irvine lost valuable positions, impacting both the race and the championship. But it wasn't just about the race. Ferrari's pit stop blunder raised questions about their ability to handle pressure, because each second matters in F1, and Hamilton learned this lesson the hard way. On December 12, 2021 at Abu Dhabi's Yas Marina circuit, Formula One witnessed a jaw-dropping moment. Max Verstappen, racing for Red Bull, was neck and neck with Lewis Hamilton for the championship. The race was a nail-biter, with both drivers tied in points. Things took a dramatic turn when a safety car came out due to a crash. Verstappen, with fresher tires, made a bold move on the final lap, passing Hamilton. The world watched in awe, but Hamilton wasn't giving up. He couldn't use his DRS for 2 laps, yet he fought back fiercely. The two drivers engaged in a heart-stopping duel, almost touching as they raced to turn 9. Verstappen held his ground. This moment could make or break their championship dreams. When the dust settled, Max Verstappen emerged victorious, becoming the world champion for the first time.
Max Verstappen, for the first time ever, is champion of the world!
It was a historic moment that defined the 2021 season.
Oh my lord, Max! Oh my yes! Yes! Oh my god! Yes! Oh my god!
Max Verstappen, you are the world champion! The world champion!
Yet, not all confrontations are about championship points. Some are about pride. In 2013, during the Malaysian Grand Prix, Sebastian Vettel and Mark Webber were teammates at Red Bull Racing. Vettel was leading the race, and Webber was right behind him. The team had a code, Multi-21, which meant Webber should win this race. As the race unfolded, tensions rose. Vettel wanted that win badly, and he didn't care about team orders. Approaching a crucial corner, Vettel saw an opportunity to overtake Webber, and he went for it. And then, the moment of disaster. Vettel lost control of his car, almost crashing into Webber. Miraculously, they both avoided a collision, but Vettel had damaged his car. He managed to regain control, but had to pit for repairs. Webber couldn't believe what had happened, and Vettel knew he had messed up big time. The team was furious. They were leading, but the race slipped away. Vettel apologized later, but the damage was done. The greed to win, even from your teammate, is not unusual, because something similar happened between Hamilton and Rosberg at the 2016 Spanish Grand Prix. Off the starting grid, Rosberg zoomed ahead, snatching the lead with Hamilton hot on his heels. The tension peaked as they approached turn 4. Hamilton saw a gap and went for it, but Rosberg wasn't giving an inch. Suddenly, Hamilton was on the grass, spinning out of control, and in a heart-stopping moment, he crashed into Rosberg. The track fell silent. Two top racers were suddenly out, and no one expected this, especially not from the Mercedes team.
Two silver arrows have crashed on the opening lap.
Now, 2 cars crashed is common in F1, but what about the moment where 7 cars were involved in a huge collision? The Hungarian Grand Prix in 2021 was already a thriller, with Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen locked in a fierce championship battle. As the race began on a wet track, Valtteri Bottas, driving for Mercedes, made a critical error at turn 1. He misjudged his braking and collided with Lando Norris from McLaren, initiating a chain reaction. Norris hit Verstappen, while Bottas also collided with Sergio Perez. The chaos continued as Lance Stroll from Aston Martin tried to evade the wreckage, but ended up launching over a curb and crashing into Charles Leclerc from Ferrari. Leclerc then collided with Daniel Ricciardo from McLaren. It was like a real-life pinball game out there. The race had to be stopped because of all the debris and chaos. Some cars were wrecked, while others rushed to the pits for repairs and fresh tires. When the race restarted, started, it was downright bizarre. Lewis Hamilton was the only car on the grid because most drivers opted for new tires. Sebastian Vettel was disqualified later on, shaking up the results again, and Esteban Ocon of Alpine eventually claimed victory.
I look forward, I look forward. No, look forward. Look forward, look forward.
Go to the finish line, keep pushing. Go to the line, keep pushing. Go to the line.
I want to go keep.